Freedom is the freedom to say that, to plus, to make for. Freedom of speech is real. He is a slave with a semblance of liberty, which is worse than the most cruel slavery. If liberty means anything at all, it means the right to tell people what they do not want to hear. In every one of those little stucco boxes, there is some poor bastard who is never free except when he is fast asleep and dreaming. Looking at the whole world as a whole, the drift for many decades has been not towards anarchy, but towards the reimposition of slavery. No one can get up much enthusiasm for a government which puts you in jail if you open your mouth. The choice for mankind lies between freedom and happiness, and for the great bulk of mankind, happiness is better. The fallacy is to believe that under a dictatorial government you can be free inside. The imagination, like certain wild animals, will not breed in captivity. There was a belief in the revolution and the future, a feeling of having suddenly emerged into an era of equality and freedom. What is needed is the right to print what one believes to be true without having to fear bullying or blackmail from any side. Will the man in the street ever feel that freedom of the mind is as important and as much in need of being defended as his daily bread? You are free to be a drunkard, an idler, a coward, a backbiter, a fornicator, but you are not free to think for yourself. You just got to say to yourself, I am a free man in here. He tapped his forehead, and you ray all right. A people that elect corrupt politicians, impostors, thieves, and traitors are not victims, but accomplices. A society becomes totalitarian when its structure becomes flagrantly artificial. That is when its ruling class has lost its function, that succeeds in clinging to power by force or fraud. By preaching the doctrine that nothing is to be admired except the steel and concrete, one merely makes it a little surer that human beings will have no outlet for their surplus energy except in hatred and leader worship. Doublethink means the power of holding to contradictory beliefs in one's mind simultaneously and accepting both of them. If you want a picture of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever. It appears to me that one defeats the fanatic precisely by not being a fanatic oneself, but on the contrary by using one's intelligence. Political language has to consist largely of euphemism, question-begging, and sheer cloudy vagueness. Power is in tearing human minds to pieces and putting them together again in new shapes of your own choosing. Power is not a means, it is an end. One does not establish a dictatorship in order to safeguard a revolution. One makes the revolution in order to establish the dictatorship. The most effective way to destroy people is to deny and obliterate their own understanding of their history. The object of persecution is persecution. The object of torture is torture. The object of power is power. There is something wrong with a regime that requires a pyramid of corpses every few years. Threats to freedom of speech, writing, and action, though often trivial in isolation, are cumulative in their effect, and unless checked, led to a general disrespect for the rights of the citizen. We know that no one ever seizes power with the intention of relinquishing it. Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. Each generation imagines itself to be more intelligent than the one that went before it, and wiser than the one that comes after it. This is an illusion. If you want to keep a secret, you must also hide it from yourself. In general, the greater the understanding, the greater the delusion. The more intelligent, the less sane. In the face of pain, there are no heroes. It is not possible for any thinking person to live in such a society as our own without wanting to change it. Man is the only creature that consumes without producing. Men can only be happy when they do not assume that the object of life is happiness. On the whole, human beings want to be good, but not too good, and not quite all the time. People can foresee the future only when it coincides with their own wishes, and most grossly obvious facts can be ignored when they are unwelcome.